What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video here in this channel, Royal Horror. Today's video is gonna be so different because I'm gonna bring my 5 personal unpopular horror opinions. So this video is gonna be quite controversial and I hope you enjoy it. And also, if you agree with these opinions, feel free to leave your comment, and if you disagree, also feel free to do this. In the horror community, we all have our rights to express our opinions from movies, directors, characters, etc. So this video is gonna be quite funny because I'm here ready to fight, to do anything. And so the first unpopular horror opinion that I'm gonna give is Chucky is boring. The Chucky franchise is boring. I know I'm gonna receive so many disagree comments on this one, but because this character and this franchise is really well loved for so many people in the horror community, and I respect that. I can see the reason why this movie became a whole franchise. I understand that the directors, they wanted to create or they wanted to give us a new villain. I do think the first movie is such a classic, it's so good to watch it and it's really worth it because, like I said before, it's very different from what we have seen before in a slasher movie. However, this shouldn't have become a whole franchise with 8 movies, and the main reason is because I feel like every single one is just becomes so repetitive after the first movie that are not fun anymore. And this is a problem when the movie takes itself seriously, and Chucky is a franchise that they believe like they're so serious, and that's a problem because, for example, we have movies that are like so cheesy or so stupid but they don't take the movie seriously. For example, Zombieverse or the remake from Black Christmas in 2006. Those movies are really cheesy, but we know that, the directors know that, and that's why those movies are very funny. But my problem with Chucky is that this movie, the directors are so serious with it, and that just becomes very annoying and not funny at all. Second unpopular horror opinion is home invasion movies are one of the most scary type of horror. In horror, we have different type of movies. For example, paranormal activity movies, we have slasher movies, psychological, etc. And also we have home invasions. I personally find that home invasion movies are very terrific because I just think what I will do on this situation. I just think as the characters, because this is one of the most realistic movies that can happen in real life, because every single movie that we have seen in this type of horror, for example, The Strangers, You're Next, The Purge, of course they're not gonna happen as the movie, but the idea it can actually happen, and that's what makes it so scary. Personally, on my own experience, the anxiety that I always received while watching home invasion movies, it doesn't compare to the one that I have when I watch, for example, paranormal or demons or slashers. Home invasions, they really do scare me a lot. Now, my third unpopular horror opinion is the Purge franchise deserves more recognition. Now, this franchise started in 2013 and it ended, because we don't know if they're gonna continue, last year, and we also have 4 movies and 2 TV series. Now, the reason why I'm saying this movie deserves more recognition is because basically I've seen many people, many horror fans saying that this franchise is kind of stupid, it's more action than horror, and in my opinion, horror has different types of feelings that it can give to you, and what The Purge gives to me personally is being scared of being in a world with so much revenge, with no mercy, and that really scares me. In the movies we can see the anger that the people have, and on the TV series we also have how the Purge affects the society. Especially in the second season, we see how can the Purge convert normal human beings into serial killers. And I think this franchise deserves more recognition because it's not like it can actually happen, but we never know. But it's really scary because someone can have this anger inside herself of himself, and you never know when they can explode. And if the actual world gives this amount of permission to do anything, I think the Purge can actually happen in real life. Fourth horror unpopular opinion is stop making more movies from the classic slashers. What I mean by this is I love the classics, I love the slashers from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 70s. But I think those franchises, they have like loads and loads of movies. For example, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Halloween are like the top classic slashers. And I do think they have like the enough movies that horror fans need, and they should stop making more movies. They should just focus on giving this new decade and new slashers, new horror villains, new victims, new final girls, new final boys, because this is a new decade, and in 20 or 30 years time people want to remember slashers from the 2020s. So I think the directors should just focus on giving us new slashers from this decade. Now my last and the fifth horror unpopular opinion is please stop mixing horror and comedy. Now, if you know me, you will know that, as you can see, I love horror with all my heart, and I love cinema in general, but comedy is honestly not my cup of tea, and I really don't enjoy when I see comedy and horror combined, because I hope this makes sense, but let me explain. Now, comedy, I feel like is something that is so forced right now. For example, late 2000s and 2010s, the comedy that I have seen from those years is really not the best. It's always the same thing. If you love comedy movies, that's fine, I respect that. And if you can give me like great comedy movies that are not the same, I will watch them, trust me. But I don't really enjoy when I see horror and comedy combined, because I just feel like they make fun of horror like in so many ways, and this is why many people consider it like, oh, horror is the same, horror is always someone with a knife and a girl running, and we know horror is not like that. We know horror has so many great horror films. I think comedy laughs at horror and horror fans, and I don't really enjoy that. Of course, we have great comedy horror films like the Scary Movie franchise. I love that franchise with all my heart, and this is the kind of movies that makes non-horror fans believe that horror is always the same, and we know horror is very, very different. Alright people, so that was it. Those were my horror unpopular opinions. If you disagree with these opinions, that's totally fine, I will respect that. Just leave in the comments why did you disagree, or which are your horror unpopular opinions. I would love to read that. I love to have different opinions from different people, because that just gives me more ideas and more knowledge from what people think. And please don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and leave your comment. That really helps me a lot. Also, don't forget to follow me on my social media. I love interacting with horror fans in Instagram, because you get to know many people in this horror community, and I love that. Once again, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.